Hello, beautiful humans. I hope you all are doing well. I wanted to do a little voiceover of this paint with me. I'm still trying to figure out the settings on my podcast. On my mic. I'm still trying to figure out the settings on my mic. And I feel like there's a lot of echoing that you can hear, and I've tried to play around with the settings, and I'm just not sure how to get it as clear and crisp as I see on other people's videos. I don't know what I'm missing. But regardless, I am happy that you are here. I hope you're doing well. Grab your favorite beverage, maybe a cup of joe, a cup of coffee. I personally am drinking a Canada Dry ginger ale. I found this caffeine-free, zero sugar, little Canada Dry ginger ale, like I said, and I've been obsessed with it. So it's really helped me with digestion and different things like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I wanted to talk through some things while I painted. I did a little Q&A box on Instagram and I didn't receive anything, so I'm just going to chat about whatever is on my mind and on my heart that I've been wanting to share with you all, because there have been so many different things that have happened, and I've been really putting off the podcast. If you guys have noticed, I feel like I want to go in a different direction with my podcasts. I have had a really hard time being inspired on my own. So, for example, like when I'm just filming an episode by myself, I find it easier to film with another person. So I've done a couple of guest episodes, and those are so much more fun to me than filming a podcast by myself. I don't know why. It's just a lot more challenging to stay talking for, 15-20 minutes. And I do like a good 15-20 minute podcast. I feel like any shorter, you don't really get the fullness of what you're wanting to talk about. So I definitely like to do a longer podcast, around 15 to 20 minutes when I'm filming it by myself. But I tend to enjoy the episodes where I am bouncing ideas off of another person, and we're sharing and connecting and talking about a topic and going deeper and, discovering new things. I feel like those are a lot more interesting. And I personally do love listening to either podcasts with two people or podcasts with one person. I don't really mind. I really like both, pretty much the exact same. So for me personally, I don't want to make every single episode with someone, but I think it would be nice to consistently have guests on the episode, on the podcast, or, whether it's just like a different person every single time. I haven't really decided yet. But I've been also loving voiceovers, so I watch a lot of like Paint with Me's or like a Chatty Get Ready with Me or different things like that. So I've been listening to a lot more audio or videos with voiceovers, specifically like painting with me or drawing with me or sketching with me or different things like that. So I'm just going to kind of talk about anything and everything, whatever's on my mind. That's what I'm going to do today. I have been really feeling creative lately. I obviously painted, as you can see in this video. I've been really loving painting and drawing vegetables for whatever reason. They are really, they feel really easy to me. And for some reason, I love the subject matter of vegetables and fruit and fun things like that. They seem simple, and I don't know, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel really good for no particular reason. I also didn't have the color red. I didn't have most of my primary colors actually painting besides yellow. So I had to make do with the colors that I had, and I really like the colors that I chose for this palette, and I think I want to kind of continue making things even if it's not their color. Like for example, the carrot is like a pink salmon, you'll see later in the painting. And I think I really enjoyed picking my own color palette and then assigning it to a vegetable or a fruit that seemed similar. Like as you can see, I'm painting the carrot here, and It's like a salmon. I don't know. There was something about the color palette that it wasn't the color of, the actual fruit or the vegetable. It wasn't like the normal color that you would typically see, but there was something about it that I just really liked how different it was and unique it was. And I just kind of had fun. I think lately I've been putting art into a box and it has to look a certain way, and I've always done like black and white, bold lines, different things like that. And lately I've been kind of getting into more abstract, or even, these vegetables are pretty realistic, but it's with paint and it's just not my normal go-to. And I've been watching a lot more videos of art like this. And I have to say, releasing this creative side of me with no boundaries and not putting myself in a box with what things necessarily need to look like the carrot is a salmon color, and it's not the typical carrot color, but there's something about it that I don't know. I'm feeling a lot more creative because I'm allowing myself to think outside the box, if that makes sense. So I've been really enjoying the creative process of things. Outside of creativity, it's really, my air conditioner just turned off and you can tell a huge difference in the audio, which is really nice, but there's kind of an echo. But either way, hopefully I'll figure out this mic situation soon, but for now this is good enough. But yeah, so I guess I'm settling in a little bit more. I really found a cute setup for my office. I think this is my absolute favorite setup that I've ever had for an office. The lighting is beautiful, the colors are beautiful, and just the layout of my office is immaculate. I love it so much. It's my favorite, like I said. And it's also kind of facilitated a creativity in me, because I'm a big believer that, environments can either host or quench your creativity. And I think that whatever environment you put yourself in is going to directly affect how creative you feel and what you're able to produce. And I think that when I'm not in a very creative environment, or for example, when I go and work at coffee shops, I tend to do more admin things because I feel a little bit more professional when I'm in a coffee shop. And when I'm at my home, in my office, it's a lot more colorful. And I've never had this colorful of an office, I don't think. I mean, there's of course like whites and grays and like the basics, but I also have included lots of colors everywhere and like lots of prints from different artists. And I feel a lot more creative and outside the box when I'm here. So I tend to want to paint or edit, videos, or do different, digital art or things like that. I feel a little bit more creative to, I guess, express myself in a way that is less professional, quote unquote, however you want to define that. But yeah, so I've been really enjoying creating in my office. I feel like it's made me kind of go outside of the box more than I ever have in any office that I've ever been in. I just feel a lot more colorful. I feel a lot more bright and airy, which is really cool. So I'm noticing a lot more how environments impact, my creativity or the work I'm able to produce within those environments. So I think that's really interesting too. I'm really starting to realize it more and more and more. But I'm trying to think of what else I want to talk about today. Oh, I am still designing the course I was going to launch at the end of the year. I don't really have a timeline yet, because I think that the timeline is going to determine, when, or it'll be determined when I finish the curriculum and all those different types of things, which I have made a lot of headway on, and I have most of the outline completely finished, and now I'm working on designing the workbook. However, it definitely still has a little bit more curriculum that I have to develop, and I'm really loving it. I have so many ideas as I go on, and I'm thinking about integrating how colors and emotions kind of go together. And I think that that kind of ties in with what I'm talking about with the environments around me. When I'm in my office at my house, it's a lot more colorful, so I feel a little bit more creative. I feel a little bit more open and I guess not inside of a box. I'm willing to try new things when I'm in my office, like painting, for example. I'm not a big painter, and I've been honestly surprising myself with the paintings that I've done. I didn't think I had it in me, but yeah, and that also goes with watching different videos and getting inspiration and learning new tricks and tips and things like that. And then, for example, when I'm at a coffee shop, things tend to be a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more professional, and that causes me to kind of feel a little bit more professional myself. I don't feel as creative, and I think that colors tie into environment, and I think that that would be beneficial for other people to learn as well. The curriculum kind of goes everywhere, which is really interesting, and I'm trying to find ways to tie them in a little bit more. So like I said, there's a lot of things that still need to be developed. There's a lot of things that need to, be refined and just kind of perfected a little bit. So I'm really excited though. Above all, I think it's going to be very helpful, and I think it's going to change a lot of, perspectives of what really matters and what to look for, in life and in relationships and things like that. It's going to be talking about, helping others understand the basics of communication, and especially when there's conflict happening, but really just to better understand themselves, people to understand their emotions and their EQ, which is their emotional intelligence, and to gain better understanding of themselves to help them live a more mindful life. And that's pretty much what we're all about here. And that's another thing that I've been having a hard time with, is narrowing down, I'm a creative, I love painting and doing these different things, but there's a professional side of me that wants to help teach others, what I've learned in my degree, which is communications and conflict, and I have a minor in sociology, so I have a passion for psychological things as well, and I'm trying to figure out how to merge the two worlds. So that's definitely something that I've had to spend a lot of time brainstorming and thinking about and being conscious of, because it's kind of complicated. Those two worlds don't seem to really match. It's like a super creative world and then like a also professional psychological therapy world, and it's like, how do you, like, I can see how art and therapy coexist and work together, but for some reason it's been difficult for me to figure out how to, I guess, niche it down, especially since my presence is mostly online and social media is all about niching things down. So it's been very difficult for me to find that path, but I think if I just keep going on the path that I'm on, I'm gonna end up finding it. I think I'll end up finding it. But yeah, I wanted to have a chill, little chatty paint with me, because I think that it's been a while since I just sat down and talked. I put a halt on my podcast there for a little bit because it's been kind of difficult for me to, like I said, figure out what I want to talk about. Do I want to have a guest? How do I have the guest? Do I keep it a cohesive theme, or do I just make it, I talk about whatever is on my mind? And since I'm, a human, I'm growing and evolving, therefore my podcast topics and things are also growing and evolving. My art's growing and evolving. So it's really hard to kind of stay the same, which I think is what a lot of social media platforms are wanting people to do, is stay the same, know what to expect. But it's really difficult to do that with a human. You can't really put them in a box. You can't really tell them to not grow and change and evolve, or change their mind or change their style. It's not really something you can do. It's not very realistic. So I guess I'm trying to navigate that, and, choosing a niche while also being a human and being okay with growing and evolving and changing, and not limiting myself just because most of my presence is online. But yeah, I guess that's a little, chatty paint with me. I hope you enjoyed these vegetables and the little strawberries, so fruit, I guess. Were really fun for me to create, and I hope it was a fun little time for you to watch along as well. But that's all I have for you all. I'm definitely hoping to have a more clarity with the podcast in the future, But overall, I hope you all are doing well and you enjoy whatever it is that you're doing right now while you watch this. And I'll see you in the next one.